I'm Mark Seifter.
And I'm Linda Zeiss Palmer.
And this is Arcane Mark. Welcome everyone to Arcane Mark. Today we're going to build a monster together with chat. So when we do this, we will sometimes ask for ideas from chat. Sometimes we will pitch votes to chat. So you can put your ideas in when we ask for ideas. You can pitch your votes when we ask for votes. We'll let everyone know who's following along and not reading chat what the results of the votes are. And to start, we want to have an awesome monster, so we need a concept for that monster. If you just start with like calculating the athletics score and you don't even know what the concept for the monster is, what the heck? What are we even doing?
So we're building a monster.
So Blaubot is wondering what we're building. I don't know. That's actually the fun part of the Build a Monster workshop. We are building any monster at all based on concepts that you pitch in chat.
So when it comes to concepts, your concept might include something about, like, you know, the story that you would tell with that kind of creature. It might include something about, like, the way that creature fights or goes about doing things mechanically in a broad sense.
You can put anything you want. It could be like, this is like a classic trickster god like Anansi as a creature. That could be your concept. Your concept could be like Sharktopus is a concept. Even like level 17 fire-based Fae.
Yeah.
Is a concept, even though or even like just level 17 bruiser monster. That is a concept. Like, your concepts sometimes can be more numerical, sometimes they can be more story-based. Sometimes Rico has had concepts that were based on just like some monster that his dragon kingmaker can face against. But I think he's not here this week on today and on Saturday, so we won't wind up with that today unless he like secretly joins
or unless somebody else decides that they want to make a monster for Rico's campaign anyway.
Monster for Rico's campaign is our concept.
Yeah.
And then Rico will watch it later and be like, what the heck? How did that wind up winning when I wasn't even here? So, put any concepts in chat. We will vote between the all the concepts that are suggested. And then whichever one wins will become the monster that we're building. And each step of the way, we'll guide the process using our knowledge of monster building and have everyone in chat vote on some ambiguous questions about the monster until we wind up with a monster to join the pantheon of Sharkshasa
and Alchemigos and all sorts of ones that we've made
other ones that do not have Sheppy art.
That's true.
That makes them inherently not as cool as the Sharkshasa and
well, having Sheppy art is really, really awesome.
Having Sheppy art is a good thing, even if you're a published product, let alone just like a random Twitch
thing
stream.
that happened on a Twitch stream. Absolutely, yeah. So one thing with this is that we've done NPC workshops too, which tend to be more of like this is an NPC who has like these particular features and what have you. Like, this is a human who's doing these sorts of things. Well, so we're looking for here is more of like a new base creature type.
Or like a creature.
A new base creature, not creature type. Yeah, a new base creature. Yep.
So put any creature concept into the chat, and we'll see what we're going to be building. I think that both Hades and What Are We Building were for comments about different things.
Yes.
And also affiliate anniversary is also probably not a concept for a monster.
Unless people declare it to be.
Twitch.tv is the monster. It's a real monster all along.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, so here we go.
A small creature that babbles and goes around stealing food and shiny items.
Small babbling.
Awesome.
Thief
Thank you for
food and shinies is the first concept. All right, that's from Shadow77113. Let's see if anybody else has concepts for monsters that we can put into the vote. I've put it into the chat. I'm gonna put them all in, and then when you type the number of the concept that you want to vote for between the possibilities that we'll have on the side. Up until then, speaking of the affiliate anniversary, it is our anniversary on Twitch. When you're watching this on YouTube, it may not mean anything to you later on, but that means that we have been an affiliate for a while. I don't remember exactly when the first Arcane Mark started, but I want to say it was the year before Pathfinder 2nd Edition came out.
I think it was 2018.
So the Pathfinder 2nd Edition come out in 2019. I think it was the year of the playtest was when we started Arcane Mark. but maybe I'm wrong
there
about
it is,
that.
2019 hardcover.
Yeah.
It was up above and one of the things you saw above.
One of the things I saw above?
One of the things above. Pathfinder Cool Book,
yes,
2019 hardcover.
So yeah, 2018. So wow, 6 years.
So I see another idea, high-level
Demon Lord on the other end of the spectrum.
On the other end of the spectrum. Well, yeah, there are Demon Lords that are level
small
25.
Creatures that babble and steal food.
No, I mean that are level 25. Like you have Tree Razor, so you can absolutely have a Demon Lord that has stats.
That's true. It may be like a nascent Demon Lord.
It wouldn't be the highest of levels of Demon Lords because those transcend stats, but I would assume that it is
the concept is a high level Demon Lord.
Okay, but
it probably doesn't mean that.
That doesn't. That's not something that would have a. That would be for a build a deity workshop.
That's probably true.
Whereas I'm gonna take that to mean
even
level 25
is also a deity.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm gonna take that to mean level 25, so it's the very top of the monster building.
All right.
System.
So does anyone else have anything? If not, we're going to vote between the small babbling thief of food and Chinese and the high-level Demon Lord.
Absolutely opposite ends of the level scale
here. The completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Here we go. Type 1 for the small babbling thief of food and Chinese. And type 2 for the high-level Demon Lord. Let's see which one chat decides to build. Today, it's going to be a very different situation depending on which.
Absolutely.
Let's see. So, I think we can safely guess that the two people who proposed the creatures are going to vote for their own. But actually, Shadow voted for the other one. You never know.
You never know what's going to happen when it comes to a vote.
That's right. That's why it's interesting to do the Build a Monster workshop because it can always
here we
be
have
whatever.
another vote for that one too. I think we're probably gonna wind up going high level.
All right, so here we go. We're building a high level Demon Lord.
Okay.
Unless a lot of votes come in from the remaining few people in the other direction, which I doubt. So, this is a high-level Demon Lord. It probably has to be level 25. Normally,
yes.
I ask what level things are up until now, but...
it's got to be 25.
As the next step, so I'm just going to say that it's level 25.
The definition.
Level 25 Demon Lord. So,
okay.
Before we go that much farther with this, let's figure out what they're the Demon Lord of.
Yes.
And refine the concept. So, type into chat what you think this is the Demon Lord of. You can type multiple ideas of what you think this is the Demon Lord of, and then we will vote to decide what this is the Demon Lord of. It could be the Demon Lord of noise that sound issues that interrupt streams, except for that's actually a deity, so that probably doesn't have a Demon Lord. Alright, so we could have a Demon Lord of vermin. Demon Lord of vermin. Like the diseasey verminy one from Warhammer, or the Dascari from
I mean, it's a popular theme for that sort of thing.
There's lots of verminous ones. The Demon Lord of Metal. There we go. I could see it. Demon Lord of Metal.
I can see either of those.
Mm-hmm. Any other Demon Lord ideas, or will we vote between vermin and metal for our Demon Lord that we are creating here in chat? Let's do vermin and metal. So type 1 for vermin, type 2 for metal. Put it into chat, and you will determine what Demon Lord is being built. All right, there's a vote for the Demon Lord of vermin. And so far is 1 for vermin, 2 for vermin. Okay, I think we're building vermin.
Metal. Yeah, here we go. All right.
Here we go. Shadow is always voting for the other one.
I know.
So we're gonna do a Demon Lord of vermin. Now, since Dascari is already sort of a Demon Lord of, very specifically of like particular insects who also died.
Yes.
Maybe this Demon Lord of vermin is more based upon like plague rats.
Yeah, I was gonna say like when the word vermin is used for creatures, it generally is because of some sort of unpleasant infestation or disease or thing that's associated with them. So I think plague rats would make a lot of sense here.
All right, so we've got the Demon Lord of vermin.
Yes.
So we have level 25 Demon Lord of Vermin. Okay. So we're going to build that Demon Lord, and we know what level the Demon Lord is, and we know it's level 25, which is above the normal level range, but not by too much. It's
so we can it's one above, yes, it's one above the charts, so it is extrapolatable.
All right. So we're the Demon Lord of Vermin. What kind of ability modifiers are we good at or bad at? I feel like our Constitution is really high.
Because
we
survived
can't get
like
rid of
the greatest and most pestilent things ever.
We're as resilient as a cockroach.
I think we're also just immune to all diseases, period. Probably.
I'm pretty sure that we are, but we can be a carrier for them. It's like we can get any diseases, but we suffer no effects from them other than that we have them.
Correct.
I think that's right. We'll just use the plus 13 ability modifier from level 24's extreme score for our Constitution.
So when it comes to the way that we attack things, I'm thinking about this from our ability scores.
With our verminous Demon Lord.
Are we more like a focus on like super strong like bash and crush? Are we more focusing on like the I feel maybe that they might be a little more finessey and dexy in their way that they go about things. And then you can have then there's also sort of like the what kind of casting are they going to have, and that sort of thing might inform some of their ability score distributions here. Is broadly speaking how they might fight. And they're going to have bits of everything.
They're going to be good at everything somewhat because they're level 25 Demon Lord.
But they're going to be even better at certain things. So, like, for example...
So, like, Tree Razor is Strength over Dex 12 and 9.
Yeah. And then, although Tree Razor's mental ability scores are, quote, not as good at 7 and 8 for his level because he's not really a caster. Whereas if this Demon Lord has more casting
those are low or low to moderate.
Yes, exactly. So... another thing to consider with the attributes here too is, for example, to what extent might we consider that like is intimidation going to be very important for their portfolio, and then so therefore you would want charisma
or deception
or things like that. Are they going to be like worming their way in a tricksy fashion?
So let's ask which other stats are high to chat now that Linda has given a sort of preamble about why you might care about different stats for this Demon Lord of Vermin.
We're making a level 25 Demon Lord.
That's right. So we know Con is going to be our highest stat.
So I see a thought there. I feel like they're standing back and command their lowly vermin. So
I feel like maybe their Demon Lord body is also made up of a bunch of vermin, and they can like spread out into different vermin and use it to like look over wide areas.
That would suggest...
Yes, level 25. Vermin.
Yes, this is what Chat chose.
For. Chat chose it while you weren't there.
Yep. So the charts go to 24, but we can do 25.
That's right.
Demon Lord of Vermin.
That would suggest some pretty decent charisma.
Yes.
So here's what I would like people to do. Type into chat 2 ability scores that you think are the highest other than Constitution for this Demon Lord. What are this Demon Lord's focus points other than just like surviving because it's a cloud of vermin? So just type in, you can type in just the 3-letter like STR for strength or DEX for dexterity or the full ability score modifier. I don't care. It'll be fine. We can understand it either way. And I will collate those results and use that to determine the powers of our rats and vermin demon.
I see we have Dex and Charisma here.
Those make sense. Those are similar to what some of the things Linda was talking about.
Other than Con,
which would determine its highest.
Very, very high.
Like a cockroach, this thing is going to survive a nuclear explosion.
Yes. But then we need to think about like what's going to be most important for how it fights and goes about things, other than just surviving forever.
All right. Another vote for Dexterity and Charisma. All right. So it looks like it's probably a Dex and Cha focused Demon Lord.
Oh, I just saw another Dex and Cha.
Another Dex and Cha. Okay. And Shadow says Cha Wiz could be fun too, so we can have Wiz be like next after that.
And then it be the lowest mental. Yeah.
Yes. So we'll do Dex plus 12. Yeah, its intelligence is maybe not the greatest out of all of these. It'll have low.
Yeah, it can have int plus 7, and then
its strength will only be plus 9.
Plus 9, yes, it'll be fine, but like not anything egregious.
And then it'll have plus 10 wisdom and plus 11 charisma, probably. Sounds good. So it's got 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 7, like you do.
Yeah.
The party's wizard might be as smart as this demon lord.
Mm-hmm. You know, when the ability modifiers get so high that you hear that at first and you're like, well, those aren't like necessary. That's kind of a low set of stats that you roll. It's like, no, that's the modifiers, buddy.
That's the modifiers.
That's not the scores.
That's the modifier. My lowest one is the equivalent of a 24 back when we had ability scores.
And perception.
So, perception. I feel like this thing is pretty good at perception because it's got these rat spies that are, like, everywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like perception is one thing it's good at, and with its relatively good wisdom, it probably is high. It may not be extreme for a level 25 because just already level 25s are pretty ridiculous.
So, to extrapolate slightly off the chart here, they're going kind of like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
Sort
so
of.
Then
it goes 2, 1, 2,
1, 2, or 1, 2, I guess. Yeah.
And then 25 probably might be 2 again.
Yeah. So then we can call
it had done 2 1s recently.
So we can call that 44. Or I guess 40 either way. Yeah.
We can just call it 44, and if that winds up being a little bit high, also it could turn into a bunch of rats. So it's probably pretty good.
So it's definitely gonna have. It's absolutely definitely gonna have dark vision.
Yes. It's got to have that. So it's got dark vision, see through all rats within 100 miles.
Yes, exactly. Perfect.
Rat sight. See through all rats within 100 miles, precise sense.
Yes. Good luck running from this guy. If there's any
sight.
Yes, absolutely true sight.
True sight 10th. It's gonna have that.
Absolutely.
Scent,
yes.
Scent, precise.
Precise, some long distance.
Yeah, scent, precise. We'll just say, I don't know, 360 feet. So those are probably its senses.
Seems legit.
Anyone who has a different sense that it should probably have can put that in there. Also, languages. It's a demon lord that probably has like telepathy.
Yes.
Telepathy. Let's see how much telepathy.
How much do they give Tree Razor?
Has. Tree Razor has a telepathy of.
Yeah, you just heard rat sight. 300.
Yes, 300 feet. So telepathy 300 feet from
see through the eyes of all rats within 100 miles.
From any rat.
Yes. From any rat. Yes.
From any rat within rat sight.
Yes.
In case something restricts its rat sight, it wouldn't
sense.
be able to use telepathy from that.
And then it also is going to need actual languages.
Yes, it would. It would have Abyssal/Chthonic.
Yeah.
Or Chthonian, or whatever the final thing is of that Chthonic language.
Yeah, Chthonian.
Plus, it's Chthonian and not Chthonic. Okay, plus common. And it might also have other rat-based ones. Sylvan, for rats.
And maybe like Undercommon/Sackroth.
I see that Undercommon/Sackroth. And then language is that's as in languages also speak with rats.
Yes, of course, speak with rats.
Speak with rats. Alright, yeah, we should be able to speak with rats. I mean, we're a demon lord of rats. Okay, this demon lord is already seeming pretty ridiculous and it can't even do anything to us yet.
Yes. It's just gonna notice us.
It's gonna notice us from miles away.
And it's gonna have talked to every rat within miles to figure out everything that's going on. Telepathically.
Now, it doesn't automatically dominate all those rats. Like, those rats are going wherever they want, unless they're actually a part of its body that it, like, plucked out, which it probably has an ability to do that. So let's talk a little bit about skills for this demon lord. So
I feel like if you can discorporate your body into a group of demon lordly stealthy rats, you're probably sneaky as heck.
Yes, it's got to be really, really good at stealth and deception to make those rats seem like they're just normal rats and are acting normally. when somebody sees the rats. That's no question. But there are a bunch of skills. So we should vote to see which skills the Demon Lord should have. So just to remind everyone, all of the skills in the game are the following skills that I just put down. I'll say it out loud as well for everyone at home. Acrobatics, Arcana, Athletics, Crafting, Deception, Diplomacy, Intimidation, Lore, Medicine, Nature, Occultism, Performance, Religion, Society, Stealth, Survival, and Thievery.
I see Thievery, Stealth, Athletics.
So I think that those all make sense, and maybe Acrobatics too.
Yeah. Oh, and Society. Yeah, that totally makes sense because they learn so much from...
They definitely would have Society given
also, I
their
think,
ability to...
Is a Demon Lord even allowed to not have religion?
I think that most Demon Lords, even Tree Raiser, who's not like the most scholarly tool in the shed, has religion and is pretty good at religion.
Mm-hmm.
Tree Raiser also has occultism and is not as good at that, and also has nature and is very good at that because it needs to know which trees to raise. Also, Tree Raiser has Arcana. Tree Raiser has all the magic types, even though Tree Raiser, again, is not the most scholarly type among Demon Lords. But Tree Raiser cares not for your society and has it not at all, whereas this Demon Lord does and lives among cities.
I want to see the chat where there are other... Oh, yeah, nature and survival.
Nature and survival.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, you have to actually know about rats, which you wouldn't know if you were... I feel like this Demon Lord also might, while being like a giant, massive swarm of rats...
Oh, there was a mention of, like, Diplo-only rats.
To be able to make a request of rats. It honestly probably has diplomacy to
and
use
then given that it has
deception.
speak with rats, then it would be able to...
Yes.
Does it have, like, some kind of ability to control rats?
I feel like it may have a Pied Piper-like aspect to it, even though it's also a swarm of rats that controls rats and people, with the way that some people consider the Pied Piper of Hamelin to be, like, a metaphor for the bubonic plague, right?
Oh,
you know, there's sort of, like, some apocryphal claims about, like, that story somehow being related to it, since there's rats being involved in it, but it's definitely possible that it would have something like that. And
so we know we'll have some kind of rat commanding thing, and then there's also, like, attacking with a giant swarm was a previously mentioned thing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's presumably going to be a bespoke ability to allow it to do as much damage as it's going to need to do. And be as obnoxious as it's
probably just flat out has a swarm attack type attack.
That's a list.
Even though it's not normally a swarm, because it can just swarm off and do that.
The question with that is it going to be does it have swarm mind?
So does it have medicine so it can understand plagues?
Oh yeah.
And concoct new plagues? I feel like it probably does.
Oh. Does it mention having abilities that are like basically telekinetic? It's just rats moving things for them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Just having rats go ahead and do things for it at a distance. I think that makes perfect sense where it can sort of control the rats. So I feel like if we add that in here, we're going to have acrobatics, athletics, deception, diplomacy, medicine, nature, religion, society, stealth, survival, and thievery. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Tree Raiser, who's like less conniving and more straightforward Demon Lord, has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we do have more than Tree Raiser, which we probably were going to.
Yeah, I think that's totally fine. We're more of a rogue type.
Our intelligence is only the same as Tree Raiser's, but our other mental ability scores are much higher than his.
Seems legit.
So we're gonna have those. Now some of those for Tree Raiser are quite not the greatest for a creature of Tree Raiser's level, so we should also have some of them that are quite not the greatest as well. For Tree Raiser, really just 2 of them, the intelligence-based ones, were a lot worse. So speaking of the intelligence-based ones, our society is our only one that we've taken that's intelligence-based, so we could have that be plus 38.
Yes. Only plus 38.
Plus 38. What a loser! And then, that's right, on a natural 1, against a legendary DC, he would critically fail. Whereas if he had plus 39, he would just regularly fail.
There you go.
On the legendary DC of 40. Just by 1, to be clear. But, alright. So, let's see. Or I should say they, since it's like an amalgam of rats, so it's like a plural. It's definitely some kind of plural creature. Although, Probably when it takes a humanoid form, or when they take a humanoid form, given the Pied Piper aesthetic, it may be like a young man with like a wind instrument.
But they still have a hive mind.
Yes. So obviously con doesn't add to ability things, but dexterity is going to be our highest
and
stat.
Stealth and thievery, I also saw thievery mentioned a lot.
Yes.
And the idea of the rats being able to get in and steal and break stuff and just constantly cause havoc makes a lot of sense.
Look, even if we're merely a master at these, we would still have at least plus 43.
Yes.
That's without any kind of pseudo item bonuses either. Tree Razor's best one is actually a 49, even though it's not in Tree Razor's best ability score. It's nature. So if we look at the building creatures for level 24, 48 is the skill top, and 49 would be the top for level 25 probably. So let's give a plus 49 to stealth.
So sneaky.
And then a plus 45 to thievery. And a... so if we give a plus 49 to stealth and a plus 45 to thievery, Tree Razor also has 2 plus 45s, so we can have another plus 45 as well.
And a 46 I see too.
Oh yeah, Tree Razor does have a 46 on which one?
Intimidation.
Intimidation, yes. So we are probably going to have a 46 on... we said Deception earlier on was one of our highest. So we can grab a 46 on Deception. Maybe the other 45 is on our
Acrobatics.
Our Acrobatics. And then our Diplomacy can be a 44 because it's using Charisma
our
as well.
Our Athletics is probably going to be our weakest.
Yeah, our Athletics is going to not be as bad as our Society because it is using something
other than higher. Society, yeah. So it could be 40.
So it's probably like 40 on Athletics. And then our Medicine, Nature, and Religion, out of those 3...
And Survival.
Out of those 4 Wisdom-based ones, I feel like Medicine is probably our best one because we understand diseases very well. So in that case, it's probably going to be maybe a plus 45 as well for Medicine. And then Nature... can be 43, maybe Religion and Survival are 41.
Yeah, that works.
All right. So
that matches what folks were generally saying and has the ones that popped up the most.
Here's what we're looking at for skills. I'm putting it into chat based on what everyone was saying for the skills. So now we have our skills for this Demon Lord, and it's still pretty terrifying, but again, it can't do anything to me just yet. Well, let's give it some defenses before it can do something to me. So, I don't really think it uses items based on the way it's been described as fighting. Yeah. So, that's good. We don't have to worry about
That'll make it easier because the Demon Lord's item is always going to be some kind of unique bespoke weapon if they have one, and so that would be...
All right.
Build an item workshop, sub-workshop.
So monsters of this level usually have something that's extreme. I don't think it's the AC because I think that there's going to be other annoying defenses that this creature has.
Well, one of the things to keep in mind here is that its Constitution modifier is plus 13. Its Constitution is egregious, so its hit points are probably going to be quite high. It's probably also going to have
Tree Razor, for example, has nearly extreme AC for level 25.
Yeah. But this thing, I think, may not be quite as high in the AC department based on the stats we've given. But, I mean, it still can be decent. But is going to have a massive pile of hit points. I'm also expecting, since we've kind of got this swarm theme going on, that we may have some of the defenses that swarms have.
I think so, too. Which is why I was saying that the AC probably is just high.
Yes.
Even though we're level 25, where a lot of things can sometimes go to extreme. So, saving throws. Well, we talked about what this creature is good at.
Yes.
And we know that this Demon Lord is so constitutional and dexy. Now, its will save is going to be its lowest, but it does definitely is going to have Swarm Mind, so it may be harder to target it with certain mental effects anyway, which is just how it's going to be. It's not necessarily like... maybe ideal that it has benefits against that, but that's fine. So, Tree Razor isn't really that weak at anything when it comes to saves, and has a +2 status to all saves versus magic.
Yes.
which actually means Tree Razor saves versus magic are like obscenely high, because the weakest one is high versus magic, with 40 plus 2 being 42.
I'm looking something up real quick for.
So with Tree Razor having that high of saves, I think that we can safely just not give ours that high of saves. I think
we can just have a lower.
Let's not do the +2 status versus magic, even though Tree Razor has it, because this one's gonna have other types of defenses. And
what I was actually gonna look up is that something that's required by
being a demon lord? I don't think demon lord. Oh no, regular demons don't have +2. So I think we can just avoid that because they're made of individual rats. So those individual rats are not as protected as a full demon lord that's like one big demon lord. That'll be our excuse. I just think that kind of defense is just not as interesting.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a lot of room for what we can do that is not at the point of Tree Razor's strength on saving throws, but is still pretty good on saving throws. So if we look at low, moderate, and high, it's 36, 38, and 42 for level 24. For level 25, that would probably be something like 37, 40, 43, something like that. And so if we were just going to pencil that in, then we would wind up with 43 fortitude and 40 reflex and 37 will. However, we can see that Tree Razor is 40, 42, 43.
Yeah.
And has another +2.
So, yeah. I was thinking that while, I was also thinking about some other things while demons...
Oh, if we only had 37 will, that would be like being just trained in will saves.
Yeah,
this is probably what happened with Tree Razor as well.
So,
that's kind of lousy.
So I think we need to make it 39 then.
I think so. Even being only an expert at level 25 is pretty weird. Then for reflex, if we go at let's see, 37 plus if we're even an expert,
higher,
we'd have 41.
Yes.
And then again, that's actually very weirdly low.
Mm-hmm.
And then 42 would be an expert for 42, which is
yes.
is below, but I feel like we have to be better than an expert. I think it's because our ability modifiers
at this level just get so high that, like, yeah.
Maybe we should just lower the ability modifiers.
A little bit, yeah. I think we can do that to make a little more sense here.
And Tree Razor doesn't have a 13 in any ability score either, even though that's the highest for level 24.
So then that would let us do 43 for
Or we could keep Con.
Yeah.
We can keep Con because Con was already where we were okay with it, and just be like, yeah, whatever. This is a disease guy. He's got 46.
There you go. Yeah.
It is actually the extreme for 24, which is slightly below extreme for it's slightly below extreme for level 25.
So we say immunity disease, and we probably want to put that caveat that they can still
oh yeah, that's right. Can get any number of diseases
automatically upon exposure. Has no symptoms.
Upon exposures, but takes none of the effects of the stages and is a carrier.
So we also know in this general region that we need to be weak to cold iron and good/holy.
Yeah, when we get to hit points, yes.
Yeah.
So we want to have our other saving throw modifiers. So I just dunked our dexterity down one, and we can propagate that a little bit too.
Through our skills as well.
We can propagate that. Nah, because they were already off parity.
That little bit, yeah, that works. Sounds good.
And we'll just keep intelligence at 7. So I lowered all our ability modifiers by 1, except for Constitution, the highest, and Intelligence, the lowest.
And that'll help justify some of our numbers throughout a little better.
That's right. And so at this point, we can be... we're still going to wind up with better saves, which is probably the situation that Tree Razor was in, but at least we don't have the status bonus.
Yeah.
So at this point, we can have... Master, essentially, at will and reflex, and then we are legendary in fortitude.
Yeah. And that feels a lot better.
That feels more like what a level 25 creature might be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's take a look at hit points. So we know our constitution is obscene.
Yes.
So I feel like we probably have the high hit points. As our base hit points. And then potentially more because of our weaknesses.
Yes.
Now, Demon Lords typically do not have the same kind of weaknesses as a lowly demon.
So I see that here the Tree Razor has resistance physical 20 except Cold Iron, and that's how that manifests.
That's right. But we don't know if that's true for all Demon Lords or if just Tree Razor was being a bit precious.
But another thing is that swarms often have some kind of a physical resistance that's then overcome by some kind of thing. So actually, I think that's more. Of sense. It's more
given as a swarm, even more than Tree Razor.
Classically fitting with the mechanical tendencies to give that to this.
That's probably true. So we can give like resistances. So yeah, there'd be immunity is disease.
You just deleted stuff there.
Yep. So immunities is diseases. That's our only immunity. And except for death effects, mental, and poison are apparently a thing that Tree Razor has. That means probably Demon Lords do. I guess. Sorry, poisoners. And then.
But again, if anything's gonna be immune to like toxins.
Yes, that's certainly true. So we can do resistance physical 20 except cold iron. I don't think we need the elemental resistances that Tree Razor has.
I don't think we need
burns down trees. And then weaknesses good 20.
Now we're also likely
except for it's now it's holy.
Yes. We're also likely so how about the ones that swarms have about like area and splash and stuff like that?
So I think we don't have that as a weakness because our body seems like it's one thing, and then we take the swarms out separately, and then they come back. So I think we actually don't have that weakness.
We are a Demon Lord. We get to be a jerk.
All right, so our weakness holy 20 kind of cancels out the resistance physical 20, sort of, except
given
cold
that
iron.
Except cold iron, because what are you doing not having a cold iron weapon?
If you're literally fighting this thing, and you're more likely to have something that's both holy and cold iron than you are to not have either of them and just be, unless the GM is a jerk who just throws this on the random encounter chart.
Also, I was thinking that the immunity to mental isn't... Actually, given that they're immunity to mental already, then Swarm Mind doesn't...
They still have Swarm Mind.
They still have it
just in case you could do mental effects on them.
Somehow on things that are immune to mental, yes.
Don't ask me. I don't know how I don't even know how Tree Razor is immune to mental. Because immune to mental means that...
Why don't we just scratch immunity to mental then?
Well, it seems like something that the Demon Lords have. Though. Like, there's no reason Tree Razor would have it and not other Demon Lords. But it's weird because that means that you like can't like bluff or something Tree Razor or other things that have mental. But it's fine. I'll leave it in here for compatibility with Tree Razor at the moment. It is the only Demon Lord that we know.
That is true.
So Tree Razor also has 550 hit points, which is not quite. It's if you look at how the hit points go up. Between it'd be like 460 to about 500, so it goes up by 40. So it is maybe a little more than high.
Yeah.
And then medium is what Tree Razor has. Maybe it would be medium if it went up by 50 at the next level.
Yeah, but Tree Razor also has more resistance.
He has way more resistances
by a lot,
and his AC is higher as well.
So
I think we should just have high.
Sounds good to me.
And if we have high, then that's like, let's say 575 goes up to like 625. So it's like 675.
Yep.
675
675 hit points.
That's a lot of hit points.
That is a lot of hit points. Let's see if anything else has been going on in chat while we've been puzzling over these numbers.
Random encounter Demon Lord. Gonna make a note for that, they said.
Never thought you'd hear the words. Random encounter Demon Lord. Make a note for that. Never thought I'd hear the phrase, sorry, poisoners.
Dalek Reject is also putting a Demon Lord in the random encounter table, and their party is level 3.
Alright, regeneration and healing abilities.
So Tree Razor has regeneration 50 deactivated by Holy, so we probably also have that.
Yeah.
And it also probably somehow doesn't affect our hit points. So let's do it.
I guess they're figuring, how do you not have Holy when you're fighting a Demon Lord?
Alright.
So, and it makes a lot of sense for this one, too. It's like, oh, they just spawn more rats to join their body. You're like, what? Why?
That's right.
Alright.
Ha 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 ha.
So, or what about an aura?
So, Tree Razor has an aura of corruption, and we probably have an aura
of disease.
Of plagues.
Yes.
So we probably have an aura of plagues, but we may not have an attack of opportunity like Tree Razor
No, we
does.
probably don't. Do we have another reaction instead?
I think we do.
Maybe a defensive reaction.
Maybe we have a reaction that is called like some kind of word for like spreading.
Yeah, I was imagining like discorporating into like but it's not quite discorporating.
What are names for like spreading diseases? When maybe they have a reaction called pandemic reaction, where when someone like fails against or like gains a condition, then you attempt to spread it as a reaction to other creatures. Oh,
that's cool.
Someone gains a negative condition within 120 feet, you attempt to spread that condition to, let's see, creatures other than your ally. Creatures of your choice in a 20-foot emanation from the target.
Oh my god.
Or from the triggering creature.
Does this have some kind of a stipulation where, like, let's say that you had an AoE that if you critically fail, you're paralyzed, and you're like, yes, I succeeded, I'm fine against that effect. Couldn't you, like, smack them back again with the same effect?
Other creatures must succeed at a saving throw using DC. We're gonna do a moderate one.
Yeah.
For this level, not a high one.
Mm-hmm.
We probably shouldn't have been putting this in yet since we're not at the part yet with special abilities. So I'll just say DC moderate.
Yeah.
Or the original DC, whichever is lower, if it has one.
Yeah.
So that way, basically, if it's your ability, it's going to be a little bit worse for this spread. But like Linda said, you could spread the one person who critically failed to everyone else.
Even if they already succeeded the first time around.
On a normal failure, they will get the critical failure effect because that's the one that spreads.
Yep.
Or they'll get at least one condition. Now, if your effect does multiple conditions or damage in a condition, the only thing that spreads is one condition of your choice.
And then I figured that, like, and then some abilities I was thinking that are nastier have a, like, you know, once you succeed or critically succeed or whatever, you're temporarily immune for a certain amount of time. And in that case, you would presumably be temporarily immune here to the echo of the condition.
Well, they've already gained it, so... Like, it's not like you have to trigger it right when they get the condition.
Oh, sorry. What I was saying is, like, let's say that there was an aura of paralysis. Or, like, a paralysis bomb that hit out and, like, everybody within it could be paralyzed. I critically succeed, which means that I am temporarily immune to paralysis bomb for 1 hour. But my friend Valeros critically failed and is paralyzed. When pandemic spreads the effect of paralysis bomb back to me, does it spread paralysis as a
I'm adding a line that says pandemic is not the original effect and ignores temporary immunity to the original effect. Okay,
there we go. I figured that clarification was necessary.
Yes, because it's spreading only the condition, not the effect. Which could be weaker because the effect may have multiple things to it.
Yeah, but it's still funny.
It's hilarious. All right.
You thought you were temporarily immune.
Think again. All right, so let's take a look at what other things we would have. We already did the weaknesses and things. So our strikes, we're a little bit more focused on other things. We can do them, probably, but we focus on our swarm attack most of our time. Our strikes are not actually probably that good for a demon lord.
I feel like we have a strike that's probably 1,000 bites or something like that.
That sounds more like the swarm
That's
attack.
Probably the swarm. You're right. That's probably the swarm attack. But what on earth is our strike then?
What is our strike?
Is it like a?
It's maybe a claw.
A claw, yeah, that we form out of.
Yeah, it's a claw that we form out of our body.
It's gonna be finesse because we're Dexy.
It totally will be. So it's gonna be claw. It's gonna be plus. Probably just plus high. Plus, let's see. What's
like
Tree
45.
Razor's plus? Yeah, Tree Razor has 47 on the Black Axe. We probably only have plus 45. Agile, finesse. And it's going to do our damage.
Plus some kind of disease, probably.
Yes, definitely. So we probably only do, like, not the highest damage ever known. Maybe a little more than moderate, even though it's a finesse attack, because we are a Demon Lord. But maybe somewhere around 50. So that would be like, and that would be like 5d10 if we wanted to do a fifth one. Tree Razor has 5, right? Or no, Tree Razor actually only has 4. So we can do 4. So we can do something like 4d10, which would be 22 plus 28. Let's see about that. So our strength is 8. So,
and I guess another question is, is any of our damage not in slashing? Like, do we have like spirit damage that we deal?
That's a good question. Actually, we probably do 4d12 plus 24.
Yeah.
If we did it in all straight out damage, but we might do some of it as like poison damage or unholy spirit damage.
Well, our attack will definitely have the magical and unholy traits regardless.
Yes, it certainly will. So I think that makes a lot of sense to me, that some of it is from that. So let's grab off and say we'll call it Plague Touch.
Yeah, and then some of the damage is coming from Plague Touch, which is going to be like...
Plague Touch will be like...
some kind of nasty is heck poisoning condition type thing.
Plague Touch is all of XX Demon Lord's attacks expose creatures to one of the many diseases XX is carrying, and deal either 2d6 spirit damage or 2d6 poison damage, whichever is worse for the target.
Perfect. So another thing to consider on the claw is, which also is kind of up at the top, is size and reach.
Yes, that's a good point. So, as an amalgam, even a regular rat swarm is large.
Yeah.
I would say we're probably huge, but have an alternate form that might be medium. That's like the Pied Piper form.
Yeah.
It's like unique, huge, unholy.
Well, you Demon Fiend, unholy.
Demon Fiend, unholy.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So that means that we probably have a reach of like 15 feet. As like the rats like extend out to give us more reach.
And do we have a ranged attack that's a strike?
So I think that we do, and that is kind of what people were saying in chat about, like all sorts of things that can send the rats out.
Yeah.
So
Ratapult. No.
Yes, we're calling it Ratapult.
I was joking.
It's done. Ratapult. All right, this is gonna be an agile range increment, 120 feet, unholy, Ratapult.
Magical as well.
Yeah, it is also magical. Ratapult!
You can't tell us jokes around this one. They'll take you seriously.
I'm taking her seriously. All right, and so that is going to be we'll do 4d8 plus 16 plus plague touch.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what is that? That's 34. That's gonna be like 41 when you add plague touch's damage.
And what are our basics? So is Claw slashing, and maybe Ratapult is...
Yeah, Claw is gonna be slashing, and Ratapult is gonna be piercing.
Yeah, because it's like the little bites.
It's
and
the
then
bites
presumably
from the
all
rat.
the attacks would be all strikes. So that if we get like spells and stuff later, they don't automatically add that. Unless you want it to be...
I'm gonna be on whatever has plague touch.
Yeah. That makes
because
sense.
I'm about to put it on
right,
1,000 bites.
1,000 bites, yes.
One action.
One action.
And all creatures in a 10-foot emanation around
yes.
the Demon Lord take... We need some swarm amount of damage for a level 25 creature, which is pretty rough. Swarms usually have damage that's even lower than the low 2-action damage because of the fact that they're a 1-action shenanigan. So if we could maybe say it'd be like, I don't know, it's tricky. Like, if you
I want to look up some other
If you
swarms.
look at like a wasp swarm, for example, because they also have poison and stuff, they do 2d8.
And what's their level?
They are only level 4. And
so
if you look at the damage of the level 4, that's actually close to the unlimited use 2-action area damage. But honestly, that makes them far more dangerous than a creature with a 2-action unlimited ability.
Yes.
And a lot of the other high-level swarms keep to a pattern that's kind of like that. So if you look at a Hell Wasp Swarm at level 8, they also have a poison,
and they're doing 48
and they are
damage.
doing 48, which is about 18. And if you look at the creature building for level 8, that's actually more than the unlimited area damage.
Yeah.
So it's actually very rough and potentially not especially fair. Now, should we make our Demon Lords more fair than some of the swarm damage? Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it with swarms, part of it with swarms is that in a lot of cases it has the very limited scope of the area that it's in.
This is a larger area.
Yes.
So I feel like it's innately going to be much stronger because it's a huge creature space plus an additional 10-foot
that, whereas usually
emanation.
you're dealing with a large space. Yeah.
Yes. So I think we can make it a little weaker than say the Hell Wasp Swarm, but we don't have to make it that much weaker. So we're already adding 2d6 spirit or 2d6 poison.
So if we wanted to get the net to like 10d6, or I guess 11d6 because we broke the chart. Because the bottom of the chart was 11d6, but that was for 24. So if we assume that 11d6 is our goal.
Also, if you look, the goal went 36, 38, 39, it would probably be 41.
Yeah.
Would be our goal, but 2d6 of that comes automatically from...
So 10d6?
Yeah, probably 10d6.
Yeah.
So take 10d6 piercing damage.
And
so this is going to be magical and unholy.
Yes. Everything is magical and unholy.
As well as Plague Touch with a DC high reflex save. Basic reflex save.
Yes, basic. Needs to be basic.
Yes.
Alright, so that gives us like our basic strike type line.
Let's see. Vrin says, should it have an ability where it can send rats all around you that can keep you in place? Like a grapple, but it can do at range. It might have some kind of ability like that. Rico is super into this rat lord thing.
There's people talking about infection and contagion. Can he send us rat swarms? Oh, like when they lose hit points, then does he send off more swarms of rats or change the shape? Or the status.
I feel like there's got to be something related to that. I was going to do this before, but in our defensive abilities, I think that we have an effect that's like discorporation, where when the Demon Lord is defeated. Also, by the way, we don't have the name, so chat, give some ideas for the Demon Lord's name so I don't have to keep putting it XX.
Mm-hmm. Also, I saw someone saying
about
about
their rats survive.
Yes.
Even if all the rats in the battle are destroyed, XX always leaves at least a few rats far away and safe. It takes XX, the Demon Lord, 1 year to reform from the surviving rats.
Is slain.
Yeah, is slain. Yeah. From the surviving rats. During that time, if a creature hunts down
and kills every last rat.
If a creature hunts down the growing Demon Lord,
yes,
they can reset the timer.
Yes.
And if they hunt down and kill every last hidden rat, they can finally end this infestation once and for all.
Excellent.
So basically, somewhere there's a body that's growing, and that's easier to find than all of the rats that are hidden somewhere. And you can kill that, and then the 1 year resets again. Yes. But you will need to find every last rat, because our con is high. This is slightly more annoying than the usual once-a-year Demon Lord coming back ability that a lot of Demon Lords have, because we are the stubborn plague that never quits.
So I also saw a mention of mobility and movement.
Yes, so
like flight and things like that.
We should get our movement down. People were saying... But
they mentioned that since it
doesn't fly, it's going to need to have a ranged attack.
So
Tree Razor, I think, like, just walks on the air.
Yeah.
No, just flies. Of course,
yeah.
It's got, like, wings. Duh. So, this thing probably doesn't.
But because of that, it probably can burrow.
It almost certainly
can
rats. Burrow.
Yeah, so, like, if it's too annoyed by you, it could... And it can also ambush you out from underneath the ground.
So, this one can burrow. So it's got a speed. Its speed is probably not like extra fast. Maybe it's just 60 feet. That's still pretty fast. It's gonna burrow.
Yeah, and like rats are solid swimmers, so it probably can.
Yes, rats are great swimmers. So it's probably got burrow 60 feet and swim 60 feet.
It can climb too, I bet.
Yes, rats can climb 60 feet. And then, like, it's gonna be, like, rat swap. Can switch locations to any of its rats within 100 miles as a 2-action activity.
Nice. Because a lot of people have translocate.
Yep.
Or dimension door, but this one's version.
This one just switches locations to one of its rats within 100 miles as a 2-action
activity. Killing this guy is so annoying.
Yep. But he doesn't have as much of a direct power as Tree Razor in like just beating the crap out of you and defoliating the entire area. Just slowly spreads diseases and then switches between different rats that is also spying from those rats.
So what kind of I guess like.
Also, we've got to put in the ability of like
the ability of like
changing into the. We've got to put in the ability of like
form change,
change shape into the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
Change shape, medium, humanoid, Pied Piper form, loses.
Ratapult.
Loses strike. Loses Ratapult.
Actually, does it lose Ratapult, or can it keep...
No, maybe it still can do that.
Loses 1,000 bites, probably.
Yeah, loses 1,000 bites.
Unless it's surrounded by... Unless it manifests the rats to...
Yeah, maybe it can still manifest them.
Oh, actually, I think that's fine because...
When using abilities like 1,000 bites...
Yeah.
It appears... They appear to play the flute and summon the rats.
Yeah. And the thing is that it's in a 10-foot emanation around them, so the Thousand Brights area is naturally smaller because the base creature is smaller. So
and then the little rats come out when they appear to play the flute and summon the rats.
1,000 Bites and Ratapult.
Yes.
That's funny.
Ratapult. Right.
So what about the one about like sending out rats to grab people?
Yes. So that was the one that was mentioned a few times. So that would be like, we'll just call it ratakinesis.
Is this like telekinetic maneuver, but like...
Although if we wanted to use like the prefix or suffix MYS, so like for a mouse, like it would be like mesokinesis.
Mesokinesis.
That's like a real thing. Like one of the major flying squirrel families, the one for like the flying squirrel you probably think of for North American flying squirrels is like family Glaucomes, which just means gray and like mouse-like. Okay, we're doing mesokinesis. It's MYS. Calm yourself. It's a MY. Mesokinesis. It's okay. We're doing mesokinesis. That's just what we have to do. So, can move objects and creatures at a distance and perform athletics maneuvers at a distance by sending out rats to do their bidding with mesokinesis. And this is going to be a distance of 120 feet. And the Demon Lord doesn't need to spend an action to maintain a
grapple.
To maintain a grapple that they started with their mesokinesis. What? I'm just reading the ability, Linda. It's mesokinesis. It's just like, it's a common, like... if you just look up MYS suffix, then it would tell you mouse or mouse-like creature. Yep. It's a real thing. I know it's a real thing. All right. Fran is glad that Fran had time to stay for a little bit before their thing, just to hear Linda die of laughter from mesokinesis. Okay. So we've got mesokinesis. Do we have any kind of, like, rituals other than Abyssal Pact?
Is there any ritual that's, like, creates some terrible plague? I wonder.
That's a good question. I don't think there's a plague ritual. Also, can they use mesokinesis to, like, get the rats to be, like, secondary casters for the ritual?
I bet they could. I think you would say doesn't need secondary caster in all of them regardless.
That's true, rather than putting it in mesokinesis. So, if we look at the list of rituals, that's actually on Nethys. It's not under rituals, apparently. The list of rituals, or at least...
Let's see.
Oh, no, here it is. It's in a different place. Okay, so I'm not seeing any just yet that seem to be a disease. There's a mosquito blight, and there's terminate bloodline with a wasting disease that's contagious to their family members. Those are the only ones that are diseases that I'm seeing here. Let's see. So, in terms of which of these seem like this Demon Lord's cup of tea, I'm not seeing any that is necessarily an exact match. Yeah. Anyone in chat, if you want to look up different thing, maybe Awakened Animal.
Yeah.
So, we could have Awakened Animal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Abyssal Pact is, I think, a first level ritual. Let's check in Tree Razor. Yes, and then Awakened Animal is a 6th level ritual. So I'll put in that, and then chat can suggest some other rituals in addition to names for this.
Like a reskin of Mosquito Blight or something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, the Mosquito Blight ritual, if we look at it, is infest with tenacious biting insects that give you diseases. It's generally arthropods.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you the witch's hunger disease that is enfeebled and slowed. I feel like that this creature this demon lord can just do better than that on its own.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a ritual. It wouldn't spend that many days doing the ritual. It would just do it.
Or if we wanted to give it, I think that it would be best made with like a higher level bespoke ritual if it was going to do a ritual.
I'm just gonna say uses the rats.
Mm-hmm.
As secondary casters, so doesn't need. Can cast the ritual alone. All right, so Tree Razor has like a bunch of spells. I don't think we need a bunch of spells. They're not too many, but it's still Tree Razor still has 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 spells. One of which is the constant True Sight. Of which is
there's also a constant freedom of movement.
We probably have those as well. We probably have constant True Sight and freedom of movement.
Except it's not called that anymore.
Free movement.
Unfettered movement or unfettered something? What is it?
Unfettered movementude. We'll just say it's that for the moment. Divine spells.
Unfettered movement.
All right, that's what I actually put. I didn't put movementude. All right.
Does it have at will Abyssal Plague also?
It probably has at will Abyssal Plague. If even lowly Tree Razor, who's not even his wheelhouse, has at will Abyssal Plague, we have to have a higher level one so that we can tell him that we are the disease person. So actually, there's literally no reason to heighten it, but we may have heightened it anyway just to be a jerk.
Yes.
We've heightened it anyway just to be a jerk. It just does make it harder to remove.
Harder to remove, yeah.
7th, Abyssal Plague, at will.
Mm-hmm.
Constant True Sight and unfettered movement.
Yep.
Now, Tree Razor also has a few quality of life, or like I guess anti-quality of life for the PC's abilities,
such as Dispel
Magic at 9th. Actually, I guess we can have 9th Abyssal Plague at will. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So let's grab that Dispel Magic at will,
and
like Tree Razor.
Also, let's see.
I don't think we really need to have Abyssal Wrath. Like that's not our way.
No, not really.
That's not how we deal with things. In this situation, we don't need telekinetic maneuver because we can already do maneuvers at that distance. More than the distance of telekinetic maneuver with a Mesokinesis. Now let's see. Are there any 10th level spells that we might have?
One thing that is other thing that's quality of life in here that may be more important for a non-flyer is Earthbind.
Yeah, I think Earthbind kind of makes sense. I was thinking about that too. So let's put it in a 9th level Earthbind. Not that it does anything, but it makes it harder to counteract because, and also we don't need to include as many like we don't have to include as many like numbers of spell ranks.
Yeah.
So it makes it simpler to read the stat block.
For sure.
All right, so let's look at 10th level spells because Tree Razor has Time Stop, but we might have one 10th level spell too.
So
or 10th rank. So...
were you thinking, like, indestructibility, become briefly immune to everything?
Yes, I was thinking indestructibility. One action instead of 2 actions. It's quickened. Quickened indestructibility, because that's this guy's thing. Indestructibility. 1 action instead of 2. That's exactly what I was thinking. And then maybe that's enough spells. Like, we're not exactly a major spellcaster.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of our things with these diseases, which we're not going to write all of them, but you assume that it has a lot of diseases.
Yeah, and if you were to run with this one, you'd want to come up with some good diseases to put in.
Because it is a carrier for, like, every disease that exists.
Another thing that it probably has, because of the fact that diseases by default have long incubation periods and so aren't something you would necessarily see right away, it probably has the ability to... That's
part of its aura of plagues.
Yeah, accelerate the movement through disease
60
stages.
Feet. This is going to be, like, aura...
Yeah, that would say the aura isn't necessarily...
Disease.
Mm-hmm.
Magical. Unholy.
Yes.
It's not necromancy anymore.
That's correct.
It's maybe 120 feet, because that's what a lot of its other abilities are.
And that's sort of like its primary range of influence.
Yep. So, a creature entering this aura is exposed to one of the Demon Lord's diseases of the Demon Lord's choice with a DC of moderate.
Mm-hmm.
A creature or entering or starting...
Enters or begins its turn, yeah.
Its turn in this area. A creature ending its turn in this area
yes.
must make an ongoing save against all of the diseases
that it has.
It's suffering, as if they had reached the end of
an interval or whatever it was called.
Reached like the time interval on
before the next
their current stage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
That's correct. It's not pleasant for the disease part. Like, that's one of our key components, was the Aura of Plagues. Linda just said, like, Chekhov's Aura of Plagues that Linda put in without us describing what it was early in the episode that came to answer that question that you wanted to answer there. For future Linda was confused, but past Linda had already gotten it in there.
Well, I knew it had to have some kind of plague aura, and then it's like, okay, what does it feel like it's missing at this point?
Okay. So, this is...
Oh, I never played that higher level. What is indestructibility?
What is indestructibility? So, indestructibility, which we've just quickened for this character because we're jerks, is the following spell. Here's how it works. Now, it is only once per day on this one. It's not at will, or else you win Pathfinder. Here's how it works. Until the start of your next turn, you sever yourself from cause and effect. For the duration of this spell, until the start of your next turn, you are immune to any effect or damage that would harm you, excluding effect caused by artifacts, deific powers, and similarly powerful sources. You can selectively allow yourself to be affected by anything you're willing to have affect you.
Yes.
That is what it does. It's just like, I am invincible! Yes, thanks, Death Orange. So yeah, you just become invincible to everything, and as I expected from the fact,
except at artifacts, divine power, etc. So if you're fighting
most of the things you're fighting, if you are this demon lord, are probably that.
But if for example PC heroes are coming in fighting against you, then they're probably going to not all have that sort of thing. Maybe one of them or have like an artifact or something like that they can use to.
That's right.
To try to overcome it. Which is part of why it's one action, I imagine, because a lot of things they deal with are going to be able to get past.
I think so. That's why one of the reasons I put it there. But, yeah, so as I expected when the Demon Lord, 25th level Demon Lord won, it took us a while to create this 25th level Demon Lord.
So you're not going to give your usual speech about how, like, creating monsters is really easy in Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
It is.
When people just made us make a level 25 Demon Lord.
It's easy considering that we made a level 25 Demon Lord.
That's fair.
I feel like it has pretty much all that it needs
to. So then what you would probably want to do is take a look at some of the highest level diseases in the game and then think about if you wanted to do, like, some rescanning or modification on those.
That's right.
Another thing to consider that would be particularly nasty for this thing is that some diseases might be balanced by having longer periods between their phases. And so then be even worse when they were accelerated. So even if they weren't like maybe quite as high level to start with, that fact that they can accelerate makes them still pack a solid punch.
That's right. Also, you're going to want to think about the religion of this demon lord, which we did not cover because we built the monster of it, but it's like domains, like how do sects, cults, and other splinter branches of this religion work?
What kinds of things do
I'm assuming that they infest society like a disease that's hard to root out because of their secretive nature, for example. Also, let me grab the moderate and high DCs while we're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and that'll also let us get the DCs in for this. Okay, you need to go beyond the bottom of the chart.
You're right. Let's just say 50. And actually, now that I'm thinking of it, the Aura of Disease is a marquee ability. So even though it's an Aura, I think we can give it the high. Yeah. We didn't actually give any extremes. It's our marquee ability. So I'll make that 50. 50 is just a nice... Maybe not nice for the PCs, round number, and then the moderate...
But then the pandemic spread is moderate, yeah.
And then the moderate can be 46.
You're also going to, for that reason, want to pick some diseases that, well, a lot of them do, but that have some nasty conditions going on that you can...
So, yeah, the pandemic spread is just going to be 46. Exactly, because then you pick one of the conditions when their disease changes. Oh, that also included this horrible condition. Let's spread it to everybody.
So as long as they can get anybody to get the obnoxious condition, then they can spread that around.
That's right. And then... do we have DC 50 basic reflex save on 1,000 bites?
In Plague Touch, the DC of the disease that they're dealing with, is that also going to use the DC 50?
Yes.
The DC of the disease is 50.
The DC of the disease is 50 rather than its
typical DC.
Original
Otherwise,
DC. Otherwise, it'll be too low.
Otherwise, it'll be too low when that one comes around. Yep.
That's right. All right, that seems pretty good. What a ridiculous thing. Chat just put so many hilarious things.
Did Chat have any ideas for the name of this creature?
Yeah, I asked for that earlier. I didn't see any...
Oh, wait, no, I see something.
Where?
It started with an X. It was higher up.
Oh, I see it here.
Slurrenix?
Slurrenix was one idea. Also, we could literally just put Pied Piper if we want to go with, like, simplicity's sake.
I think Slurrenix sounds more like a...
Let's put in some more ideas in chat to see what people think about the names of this.
Let's go Pirate and make sure there weren't other suggestions.
Because chat was coming up with so many ideas, such as Mesokinesis, which really made this stream. Let's see.
But there's more things up.
Where?
I saw slashing something that I hadn't seen before. Rodents of unusual size.
I saw slashing mods for the thing where it attacks you with all the little rounds.
Oh, yeah.
The 1,000 bites. So... Slurrenix or Racerix. Alright, so... let's do Slurrenix / Racerix, and then maybe the title is the Pied Piper.
Yeah. Because that feels more like a title to me.
I think it's a title. Also, it could be Hamelin.
Oh, no.
Right? Because the Pied Piper of Hamelin.
Yes, I know, but that's too on the nose.
Hamelin the Pied Piper.
On the
Sometimes you have to be on a nose for people to appreciate the reference.
It also sounds too, like, gentle for the destruction of this thing brings.
But this is an insidious demon lord. If someone said that they worship Hamelin, you'd be like, that's okay, right? And then you find out it was a demon rat that plagued everybody. And it's too late. Whereas if they say they worship Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective, then you would know that they were a sewer
These names are
rat.
less on the nose than Ratigan also.
Alright. So, there we have it. We have created a level 25 demon lord.
Should we do a vote for the name?
We could also just put in both. We've done that before.
Yeah, I think we do that. They're both good.
We can just leave both in there.
Yeah.
So there we go. We're gonna put this on. We're gonna put this on the Discord.
I wonder
so
if next
you
time
want to
we
see
do
the
build
stat
a
block,
deity workshop, but people are gonna want to do the deity workshop for this.
tiny.cc/arcanemark.
And the way that sometimes we've done like combo ones.
We'll have to find out when we see what next Tuesday's episode will be, which will not be deity because the other build was not deity. So let's say goodbye to YouTube and then vote. Bye, YouTube.
Bye.